happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics. And today we got a reaction to the legendary Ella Fitzgerald for the first time on this channel and her top 10 songs. Brought to you by a friend, longtime supporter and patron of the channel, Doug. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons who make this thing go. If you guys support us in any way, check out that Patreon link below or the Patreon link on the end screen. We could not do it without them. All right. I mean, I know a little bit about Ella. I know her name, and she was in this commercial in the 80s that was really famous. I don't know anything else about Ella Fitzgerald, but Doug always does a good job of filling in my musical my musical knowledge. They got a couple of Sinatra albums that he's brought the last 2 months you should go check out after this that are fantastic. But I'll tell you a little bit about Ella, and then I'll give you a little bit of Doug's thoughts, and we'll jump into this thing. All right, Ella Fitzgerald was an American jazz singer, sometimes referred to as the First Lady of Song, Queen of Jazz, and Lady Ella. She was noted for her purity of tone, impeccable diction, phrasing, timing, intonation, and a horn-like improvisational ability, particularly in her scat singing. She also appeared in films and as a guest on popular television shows in the second half of the 20th century. Outside of her solo career, she created music with Louis Armstrong, you may have some of that, Duke Ellington, and the Ink Spots. In 1993, after a career of nearly 60 years, she gave her last public performance. 3 years later, she died at the age of 79. Her accolades include 14 Grammys, the National Medal of Arts, the NAACP's inaugural President's Award, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. All right, Doug says, Ella Fitzgerald had a remarkable career and mesmerized audiences with her incredible vocal talent. While it's difficult to narrow down her top 10 songs, I did my best. And when you're dealing with iconic artists like this, coming up with a top 10, guys, is next to impossible. So kudos to all the patrons who do that. He says, these songs represent just a fraction of Ella's vast discography, but they capture her versatility, emotion, and sheer talent as a vocalist. If you've never been with us before, the music will not be in the video, but it'll be at a Vimeo link below. Go click along and follow along with us. All right, we're going to kick this list off at number 10 with How High the Moon. There's a ton of versions of this. This is the most listened to version besides a live version. So we're going with this one. You'll see that it says first take on this. But this was written by Nancy Hamilton and music by Morgan Lewis. It was first featured in the 1940 Broadway review, Two for the Show, where it was sung by Alfred Drake and Francis Comstock. The earliest recorded hit was by Benny Goodman and his orchestra, featuring vocalist Helen Forrest back in 1940, of course, and the Les Paul Trio did a version of it. And then for Ella, there's all kinds of versions. She first performed at Carnegie Hall. I mean, we don't have any recording of this, but in September of 1947, and she recorded it in 1947 with the Daydreamers on backing, and I've seen this called her signature tune, so should be fantastic. I'm gonna have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, Doug. How High is the Moon? Wow, that was fantastic, man. She sounds so pure, her voice, but then you get all that scat singing in there, and then she comes in at the very end and pops off the last bit of the lyrics, but just a fantastic introduction in this top 10 list of Ella. Let's move on to number 9. Now coming in at number 9, A Tisket, a Tasket. It's a nursery rhyme first recorded in America in the late 19th century. The melody to which the nursery rhyme is sung recurs in other nursery rhymes, including It's Raining, It's Pouring, Rain, Rain, Go Away, and Ring Around the Rosie. It's further used as the basis for a very successful and highly regarded 1938 recording by Ella Fitzgerald, composed by her in conjunction with Al Feldman, who later became known as Van Alexander. It since became a jazz standard. The single by Chick Webb Orchestra, vocal by Ella, released in June of 1938. A Tisket, a Tasket from 85 years ago. You can tell Ella was much younger there, but just a fun one. The interaction between everybody. The Chick Webb and the orchestra, fantastic on there. Just a fun song transporting us back to a very, very different time. Next up, we'll have You'll Have to Swing It, in parentheses, Mr. Paganini, parts 1 and 2, written by Sam Kozlow for Rhythm on the Range. It's strongly associated with Ella with this version. It was first recorded by her in 1936, became one of her signature songs. It was a firm fixture of her live performances, providing a springboard for her scat singing. That was just a fantastic performance, right, Mr. Paganini? So, I mean, the gist of the song is that the song's over, but someone from up top yells, please play this, and if you can't play it, sing it. If you can't sing it, do the scat on there. And so Ella, it's a masterful performance, right? between her and the orchestra just draws you in, man. I really enjoyed that. Next up at number 7, we got Anything Goes. It's a song written by the great Cole Porter for his 1934 musical of the same name. Many of the lyrics include humorous references to figures of scandal and gossip from Depression-era high society. The opening stanza is believed to have influenced the orations of Malcolm X, who in 1964 said, quote, "Our forefathers were not pilgrims. We didn't land on Plymouth Rock. The rock was landed on us." Frank Sinatra's version was included on Songs for Swinging Lovers in March 1956. I have that up. Months later, Ella released the first of 2 versions. Anything Goes. Ella just sounds fantastic on this, right? She comes out of that first verse, which was what I was talking about with the Malcolm X. It's that verse. Just the way her voice inflection, like, it's just awesome, man. Just transports you back to another time and place. The orchestra is fantastic, but Ella is a superstar. Next up, we have Mac the Knife Live. A great story on this. It's off Ella in Berlin. It's a 1960 live album by Ella. The album was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1999, which is a special Grammy award established in 1973 to honor recordings that are at least 25 years old and that have, quote, qualitative or historical significance. So very difficult to get, right? One of her most acclaimed live performances, she improvised the lyrics for the song, forgetting the original lyrics. In recognition of this, she received the Grammy for Best Female Vocal Performance on a Single and Best Vocal Performance Female Album at the 3rd Annual Grammy Awards. Yes, we were just getting this thing rocking. So Trey and I have a triple reaction up to Mac the Knife. We're very familiar with Mac the Knife, so I thought this is going to be cool to listen to her improvise the lyrics. And people who sing Mac the Knife think it's some smooth song. I mean, it's about a serial killer, right? So I'm curious to what she does with this. All right, Mac the Knife Live. She did well for a while, and then she got to, this is a verse that I don't know, but she continued singing it in the same style, right? This is the verse that I don't know. It was, and then she just improv the rest of it, and it sounded fantastic. She's great, such a great singer. And just her interaction with the audience, you can just see why she was so likable. She didn't take herself so seriously, right? That she just stopped the song, which is what a lot of people do. She just kept on and rolling with it, man. So fantastic way to end out the top half of this list. Now we go to number 5. We have They Can't Take That Away From Me with the great Louis Armstrong. It's a 1937 song with music by George Gershwin and lyrics by Ira Gershwin. It was introduced by Fred Astaire in the 1937 film Shall We Dance and gained huge success. George died 2 months after the film's release, and he was posthumously nominated for the Academy Award for Best Original Song at the 1937 Oscars. Ella recorded this in 1956 with Louis for the Ella and Louis album, and in 1959 for Ella Fitzgerald sings the George and Ira Gershwin songbook. Of course, we're doing the one with Ella and Louis from 1956. They Can't Take That Away From Me. Just a fantastic playing off, right, of Louis and Ella. I mean, they just play off each other so well, man. And I mean, Louis obviously on the trumpet on there sounding fantastic. So great choice there. At number 5, next up we have Undecided, popular song written by Sid Robin and Charlie Shavers, published in 1938. First recordings by John Kirby and the Onyx Club Boys, also in 1938. What a great name, the Onyx Club Boys. Also recorded by, Chick Webb and his orchestra with Ella in 1939. Let's get it. Undecided, just another timeless song there, right? Basically, she's singing to this guy who can't decide whether he wants to be with her or someone else. So Ella's running through it. But I thought at the end of some of the lines, the emphasis brought on by Chick Webb and the orchestra to kind of add some drama to the song. This is really, really well done. And as she is on all this, she sounds fantastic. All right, we got the big 3 left. Number 3, Cheek to Cheek with Louis Armstrong, written by Irving Berlin in 1934-35, specifically for the star of his new musical, Fred Astaire. The movie was Top Hat, co-starring Ginger Rogers. The song was nominated for Best Song Oscar for 1936 and was named the number 1 song of 1935. Astaire's 1935 recording with the Leo Reisman Orchestra was inducted in the Grammy Hall of Fame in 2000. In 2004, Astaire's version finished at number 15 on AFI's 100 Years, 100 Songs survey of top tunes in America cinema. So I feel like I should know this song. Maybe I will when I hear it. It has been recorded by 438 different artists. Somebody had to go and find those and count those. All right, let's go. All right, Cheek to Cheek, just fantastic. Louis took the first almost half of the song, and then he threw it to Ella. So they weren't in there together a lot. They just kind of traded off. But Louis did jump in there with Ella a little bit. But yeah, man, just a fantastic song. I think I know this song, but if I think I know it, it means I don't know it real well, right? But I mean, surely I've heard some version of this somewhere, right? I had to have, but as I mentioned at the start, high praise for this song. But Ella and Louis, man, they're good together. They're so good together. And building on that theme of them being good together, we got "Dream a Little Dream of Me," Ella with Louis. It's a 1931 song with music by Fabian Andre and Wilbert Schwant and lyrics by Gus Kahn. It was first recorded in 1931 by Ozzie Nelson and his orchestra, soon followed by Wayne King and his orchestra with vocals by Ernie Burchill. A popular standard, it has over 400 recorded versions. The highest charting success was in 1968 by Cass Elliot with the Mamas and Papas. "Dream a Little Dream of Me," that was fantastic. The only thing I wish is that it was longer, right? But it was fantastic. Yeah, Ella doing most of the verses, and then Louis comes in on verse 3, but Ella does a little call and response with him, and then they do a verse together. Like, it's just really, really well done. I do know this song, boys and girls, so don't think I don't know any. I do know this song, but yeah, that might be my favorite version of that song that I've heard. All right, we're to number 1, drum roll, but you see it below, Blue Skies. And Doug said, I just love her take on this old standard, but I'm biased because I absolutely love this song itself. All right, it was written by Irving Berlin in 1926. I'm recording this in December of 2023, so I mean, this song's almost 100 years old. It's one of many popular songs whose lyrics use a bluebird of happiness as a symbol of cheer. The sunny optimism of the lyrics are undercut by the minor key, giving the words an ironic feeling. It's composed as a last-minute addition to the Rodgers and Hart musical Betsy. Although the show only ran for 39 performances, this song was an instant success, with audiences on opening night demanding 24 encores of this piece from star Belle Baker. Now, I found that in 2 different places. You just never know. Like, that doesn't sound logical that would even be possible, but I'm not doubting it, right? There was no TVs, nothing to really entertain you, so maybe they just wanted poor Belle here to bust this thing off 24 more times. In 1927, the music was published in Ben Selvins' recorded version as the Knickerbockers with vocals by Charles Cayley was a hit. That same year, it became one of the first songs to be featured in a talkie when Al Jolson did it in The Original Jazz Singer. A version was recorded by Benny Goodman, of course it was, in his orchestra in 1935. And then 1946 was a notable year for the song, with a Bing Crosby Fred Astaire film taking its title, along with 2 recorded versions by Count Basie and Benny Goodman, reaching number 8 and 9 on the charts. In 1958, Ella crossed genres, putting her own distinctive scat jazz stylings on this for her double LP album, Ella Fitzgerald Sings, the Irving Berlin Songbook, that year's installment in her famous 8-album songbook series. It's also included in that year's Ella compilation album, Get Happy. All right, number 1 on Doug's top 10 Ella Fitzgerald songs, Blue Skies. All right, Blue Skies coming in at number 1 on Doug's top 10 Ella Fitzgerald songs. That was fantastic, right? And in the middle of it, she just breaks down that great scat singing that only she can do. Just fantastic. A great rendition of it. It's a timeless classic, and her version of it definitely does it justice. So now we're going to get to my favorite tracks. It's always very difficult on these top 10s of artists that are iconic and have this huge catalog, because usually all 10 songs are just really good, right? And they are in this case. But I try to narrow it down. We'll see what I got. 5 of the 10. Honorable mention, you'll have to Swing It, parts 1 and 2. Faves, Mac the Knife, that fantastic live version. And then Cheek to Cheek with Louis, Dream a Little Dream of Me with Louis, and this last track, Blue Skies. But let me know what you think. What are your favorite tracks on this list, and what other tracks do you love from her that wasn't included? Remember, you can only put 10. So kudos to Doug for coming up with this one, guys. All right, guys, until next time, I will see you.